All right, welcome back to Soccer Matters here on the Horn in Austin, Texas, as always presented by John Daspit and the Daspit Law Firm. It's daspitlawAustin.com, 512-865-6710. By the way, they're bilingual. They are helping us to get soccer on the airwaves and allow us to continue the coverage of not only Austin FC, but also the game globally. So a big thank you to John Daspit, daspitlawAustin.com, our presenting sponsors, and it allows us to bring on talented young soccer player, Jared Stroud of Austin FC. Jared, how are you?
I'm good, Glenn. How you doing?
Good. Nice to have you on again. We appreciated you coming on during the season. How about a couple of notes here and take us inside of preseason so far?
Yeah, it's been really good. We were battling with a couple COVID cases here and there, but other than that, it's been really smooth, and it's been really good to be back. And the weather's held up for the most part, which has been really nice. And preseason is always interesting because you have a lot of trialists and new college kids, so it's all about integrating those guys and helping them out and getting used to the standards. So it's been really good so far.
Jared, just in a synopsis last year, just tell us about your game fitting in with Austin FC, where you're at and what you've been thinking in the off season, because I have seen a few things that you've been working on in the off season as well.
Yeah, it's been good. It's been a really good off season to take some time and step back and think about what I did well and what I could have done better last year. In a lot of ways, I had a lot of really good moments last year, and at the same time, I had a couple low moments as well. And that's kind of how the team went a bit last year. Is we were up and down, and to reflect on that in the postseason and work on a couple things within my game. I think I've basically come back and have been a lot fitter and stronger, and basically know what to expect this year. In the off season, it's all about kind of building, a platform for what you want for the next year to look like. I was doing a little bit of shooting there with my family, and it was nice to get home and kind of refresh myself after a good season. We always look to do better next year. I think a lot of the guys feel the same way. I think this year we know what Josh expects, we know what the club expects, we know what the fans expect, and we want to have a lot more positive moments than negative ones.
Austin FC winger, he's joining us, Jared Stroud, had that goal against Sporting Kansas City last year. I look at you in a 4-3-3 system, and 4-3-3s, people have to remember, and I don't think the outside always does, that there's a lot of variation within these things, and your role could change. One game, Josh Wolf may say to you, I want you to play in the interior more and inside channels more. Other games, he might say, I want you to give us width for more of the game. How do you get that instruction? Does that change game by game? And how does that work within the system?
Yeah, I think it changes game by game, and it depends on who we play and what type of outside back I'm playing against. If I think I can, if I think I have a lot more pace than a certain outside back, then I'll try and get in behind him more, and I'll try and run more direct because I feel like I can beat him to the ball most of the time. Whereas if I'm playing an outside back who's quicker on the turn, sometimes Josh wants me to come inside and add that fluidity to my game. So it's all kind of based on the game. And, last year, I think early on in the season, I didn't really understand that. But as things went on and as I learned more about what Josh wants me to do, I think it looked a lot better. And then obviously the Kansas game was kind of a byproduct of that. So, yeah, it's exciting this year because I think a lot of guys are bought in and know what Josh expects. So stuff like that is hopefully, you can see or expect more this year from me to come inside and outside and do different things than just last year.
Yeah. How important is it to set people up by going inside sometimes? Or, yeah, it's such a tough position you play. It's not one that I would want to play, quite frankly, because the amount of running you do is incredibly impressive and the effort that you put in. But, how much of it is mental and how much of it is setting your great pace and your ability to bring width with combination play inside and dragging it back or somebody a little deeper into midfield? How much of that, that is a real mental game, I guess, is what I'm trying to get across to people.
Yeah, it is mental, and it depends on if you're controlling the game and whatnot. Like if we're controlling the ball a lot and we have a lot of possession and whatnot, it becomes easier because it gives me extra time to make different movements and come inside and run behind and do different things. When we're not on top of a team and we're not building out of the back properly, or we're giving the ball away in tough spots, then it always makes it tough for me to be able to move into those positions. So a lot of it's kind of just based on how we're controlling the game. And as the fans and everyone could see, like there were certain games that we played, towards the end of the year where we're controlling it, and it allows me to move inside or, move closer to the goal and get more chances. So the more we control games and control possession of the ball, the more it allows me to move inside or outside and make it tougher on the defenders.
Are there specific games that, your manager, Josh Wolf, says to you, look, I really want you going inside more because, I want us to have the ability to get our outside back into the attack?
Yeah, that's part of it too. I don't know if there's certain games; it's more certain situations. So, like, if one of the center mids is dropping down, that always vacates a space where maybe the 10 or an attacking midfielder might be in that pocket, which would then allow me to come down into that pocket. So it depends on what's going on behind me, right? So if the 10's dropping down closer to the center backs or midfielders, then that opens up a space for me to drop down, which allows the outside back to get higher. But that's all situational and based on how much time we have on the ball. And when we play well, we get time on the ball, and our center backs make good decisions, and I can come down into that pocket or not based on the midfielders in there. But it's all kind of spatial awareness.
Talking to Jared Stroud, Austin FC winger. Look, you got a lot of competition. Cecilio Dominguez, Fagundes, John Gallagher, Rodney Redis. This is going to be some real competition. This is a big year for you, huh?
Yeah, I think every year it's it's always going to be competitive, right? It's the highest league in the U.S. and we have a lot of good players and we all want to push each other and make the team better. Yeah, I mean, I have high expectations for myself, and I know those guys do as well. And it's about being, getting through the season in the right way and excelling yourself and pushing yourself forward. So, yeah, it's good. It's good to have that competition, but at the same time, it makes you hungrier to get on the field and make a difference.
You got to be excited that the organization has really identified some key areas. Obviously, a holding midfielder with more defensive instincts, and then today, Ruben Gabrielson being announced as well. These are two very key positions, two positions that could really affect a lot of people, including yourself.
Yeah, for sure. Last year being in an expansion team, it was always going to be tough, to figure out what was working and what wasn't working, and to bring in some extra pieces, and then to figure out what kind of worked last year. Is what makes teams a lot better. So maybe those guys are they're gonna be really important pieces, and they're gonna make it more competitive for everyone, which is always good because you know how the season goes. There's injuries, there's illness, there's all sorts of things, and we need to have that stability. We need to have competition within the team because that's what makes the best team. So these pieces are really good, and the guys who've come in so far have been good and exciting. And we need more of that. So we're excited about it.
What are your initial impressions on some of the new guys?
So he just got in. Finley, he's good, strong winger. And then Danny Hosen feels like a new player because he was missing all of last year and he's back. And he looks good, and Maxi looks good. Ruti, yeah, they all look good. They all look fit. I'm trying to think who else has come in. The draft picks have come in. They've come in fit. They're learning. They look hungry, and yeah, I'm sure the other guys will be coming in soon. Johan, I think the guy who they signed recently, the center mid, Valencia, I think he'll be coming in soon, and yeah, everyone they look like they're gonna help the team, so that's good.
Exciting stuff. Was it a quick off season for you? Do you feel like everything's accelerated? I mean, you were mentioning you had a time to reflect a little bit. I can't think that's an easy thing to do in the season. You're going game by game. You're competing and training every day, which people forget how hard you guys are competing for playing time. In your case, does Josh, does Claudio, do they take you aside? Do they talk to players a lot? Do they try to impart some wisdom on you with their lens and watching what's going on based on training and games.
Yeah. I mean, I had my end of the year meeting with Claudio and Josh, and they told me, what they think I could work on and how I can excel myself, because I have a lot of really good tools to be a really, really influential player on this team. And last year I was, I don't want to say hit or miss, but sometimes I'd have really good games and, make really impactful assists or goals. And then other games, I just think that, they've spoke to me. I want more consistency this year. In the off season, I had a tonsillectomy, which was, it was kind of a big surgery. So I was out for like 2.5 weeks, which was tough. And, that was a big chunk of the off season. And then with COVID and stuff, my family had we had a couple COVID cases, so it was a bit madness. But at the end of the day, I definitely took time to reflect and go home and see my brothers and my family. I hadn't seen them all year last year because of COVID and whatnot. So to not see them for a full year, it was nice to get back. And hopefully this year maybe a little bit more. I'll get them out and see them a bit more. And then I got to explore the city a little bit more as well, which we didn't get to do much last season with COVID game on the weekends. So that was also really nice. So yeah, it was a really nice off season.
Well, I'm excited to see you this year and continued success, Jared. Before I let you go, just a little bit on your brothers. Did they play the game too? Your family members?
Yeah. I have 3 brothers. My oldest one, he played college soccer, but he's done now. And then my 2 younger ones play college. One plays at Duke, one plays at Colgate, or he just transferred to DePaul. But yeah, they play. So it was nice to get home and train with them. I think it's some of the best training I get, honestly. They're competitive.
Do these guys give you a lot of, your brothers give you a lot of tips and things? Or are they trying to tell you what to do, or is it the other way around?
No, they give me a lot of stick, but no, they're super positive. They're great. We've always been competitive with there's 4 boys, so it's always been competitive, but we give each other enough love. So now they're great. So it was good training.
Isn't it amazing how, the kids that grow up, in youth soccer clubs and have brothers, they're generally, they drive each other in some ways, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we always used to do 2v2 in the basement for God knows how many years. And yeah, I think that's what drove me. It gave me my competitive spirit when we're beating each other in the basement every day. So worked out well.
Jared, thank you so much for coming on as well. Continued success this year and continued success getting prepared for the 2022 season.
Thank you, Glenn. Appreciate it.
All right. That's Jared
Awesome.
Stroud, exciting young winner for Austin FC. We appreciate him coming on and giving us some real insight here. That interview brought to you by John Daspit and the Daspit Law Firm, daspitlawaustin.com, 512-865-6710. They're bilingual. You get in any type of an accident, car, boat, motorcycle, they'll work for you 24/7 nights and weekends. daspitlawaustin.com. We'll take a break. We got more to come.